Welcome to a sketchbook tour in which I have a steady camera. How wild is that? It's pretty wild. Now you may be wondering, why is this sketchbook square? These sketchbooks usually are not square. And, yeah, I chopped off the top of it so it would fit in my little bag. And now I've got about an inch of extra sketchbook of this, and it's wild. I'm gonna draw snakes in it. But yeah, this is a more recent sketchbook than my last one, so perhaps I will have some better commentary. But no promises, so we'll just have a time. So yeah, as usual, I started it off with a list of goals because it usually helps me break in the sketchbook because it erases the necessity of figuring out something to go on the front page or the first page, because that's always scary. So I just start off with writing down what I wanted to accomplish in this sketchbook or this time frame in which I'm finishing the sketchbook, and I often do life drawing on the other side or the next page depending. And the first couple pages I started while a friend was here, so I did a lot of just life drawing and drawing them, and it was a good time. Like, the life drawings of these, they're a very different style, I guess, than I usually end up with, but I really love it, and I would like to figure out how to do more of that, how to get back into that with the, like, loose, wiggly line. I also like these. They're a good set of gestures. And with this sketchbook, I did a lot of just tossing down a watercolor background, because I wanted to make use of the fact that this sketchbook could actually hold watercolor. And yeah, it was pretty wild. My usual sketchbooks don't hold watercolor very well. I put it in anyway, but they're not meant to hold it. I really like I like this page a lot because it has a fun composition to it in a weird way, as well as I really like these two watercolor pieces. Blob drawings, except this time I assigned a different type of shape to each color I was using, and that helped me figure out shapes I wouldn't have otherwise, because I usually default to like rounder shapes, but it was really fun to play with sharper and squarer shapes. More shapes. This is similar to the first sketchbook I have uploaded, where I gave the sketchbook to my friends and we each drew various blobs and then sent it back to the original owner of the sketchbook, and we drew over them, turning them into things. This is an entire page of life drawing in like the same night. Like that one. I should do more environments. I used a lot of different mediums in here, which is just a little out of the usual, because I tried to use more different mediums because this paper is supposed to hold it, and while I do usually use the same mediums in other sketchbooks, this one functions for them. And for these drawings, I just did with acrylic. I went in with acrylic and I did the shape of his hair, and then I went over with the rest, and that was a fun thing. These are super fast figure drawings, and they're really loose, and I really love this set, as well as trying to practice drawing with markers, because I often don't draw with markers, and this, leading off of that, my friend was trying to teach me how to color with markers, because they color so well with markers, and it's so vibrant and wonderful, and I don't know how to do that. It's so cool. And we were just coloring together, and it was a good time, trying to show each other different things we knew. And, I like taking notes in my sketchbooks because it helps me remember stuff and appreciate things more, as well as it fills pages, and I just like having them. But I watched Loving Vincent, and it was gorgeous, and like, you can tell how blown away I was just like from reading any of these notes, because just, oh boy, it was so good and experimental and wonderful. And I got some Posca markers at the start of like this page. I was just having a good time. Like I found I really like Posca markers now, and I really like using them and layering them, and I think I get into that in the back of the sketchbook where I was just drawing with them. Like I do the sketch with them and all sorts of things. I also found I really like doing little background patterns with them. Just adds a bit of fun to the back. Lots of life drawing and drawings of myself from the mirror. I always really like doing this kind of exercise where I do life drawing, but I only draw the skeleton or organs or whatever I'm focusing on. Like I think I've done a set where I did the veins, and it's just really fun. It's like a good way to get yourself out of your usual mindset for life drawing. These are actually inspired by a jacket I have. They're just the flowers that are on the jacket. And they looked kind of like eyes, and I was like, whoa, I should draw eyes based on them. So I was having an art blocky time, and it got me out of it, so that's good. These are some figure drawings of a skater that I saw when we went out skating. Here's a bunch of others. I really like this little girl. She was so good and so little. My dogs. They're so hard to draw since they don't stop moving. Conversation that I overheard. Ah, yeah, here's where I get into layering paint markers for the first time. And I really love the results. They're like, I don't know, they're wacky, and I love them. Practicing figure drawing, starting with silhouettes. It's a good time. And here, yeah, around here we started camping. Or I think, yeah, I went back to this page and I drew something while we were camping, but yeah, we were camping and it was a good time, and I was complaining about the heat because it's too hot and it's too windy, and then it was raining and it was wild. And here's everybody. And the inside of our little camper. And here we have a rough lineup of most of the characters in Sivan's story, which needs a better name than just Sivan's story. Because it's not just about Sivan, but it doesn't have a name yet, so I guess that's what we're gonna have to do. But yeah, it's got a bunch of characters from it. All the characters other than Elliot or Sivan, Mesa, Adelaide, Cassie, and Randall have much less developed designs, so I don't know how consistent they'll be, but it was a time. These are a bunch of just drawings of while I was watching Critical Role. So some of them are the various people playing in Critical Role in the new season, because I'm not caught up on the old campaign, but I'm trying to keep up with the new one because it's such a good time. More figure drawing. Just trying to take advantage of the fact that this paper can actually, like, hold watercolor functionally. It's Toontown. And then we've got just a full page of Sivan, as per usual. We're just trying to figure out how Cassie looks and how to draw her. And Adelaide, but mostly Cassie, because I know how to draw Adelaide, but I know less about Cassie. And then we've got lots of notes and life drawings from when I went to WonderCon. And there's just a lot of drawings of various cosplayers at either WonderCon or Disneyland, since it was right across from Disneyland. And that's a good time. I like a lot of these. Definitely a good exercise. I should get out more and draw more people. I like these hands. There's words. I definitely went through the sketchbook a lot faster and looser than I do a lot of my sketchbooks, and I really like that about this one, and I'm trying to get back into that mindset of just, I drew every day, and I drew wildly and loosely, and it was a great time. Like, I really love these, because they're messy and loose, but they say a lot about their characters and how I want them to be shaped, and how I want them to look. And then I was just trying to do some graphite portraits, because I usually hate drawing with graphite, and I don't love doing realism, but I tried it. Practicing structures, because I have kind of gone through learning to draw in a weird way, in which I kind of disregarded structure and like baselines for the longest time. Like, I knew you should do them, and I did do them, but I didn't know how to use them, and I didn't put them to use despite drawing them down. And only kind of recently-ish have I started actually focusing on how things were constructed and how they relate to a 3D space, which is wild, because like everyone, when they're learning to draw and they're like, I'm gonna draw anime, they're like a circle and a triangle and the lines where the eyes go. And I did that, but I didn't acknowledge how that helped at all. I really like this painting because of how I defined the different planes of the face with different tones and color. It's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Mingus. Always a good time. And then I went to a little, I don't know what to call it. It was kind of a talk by some of the artists who worked on Loving Vincent, and it was great. I just really love Loving Vincent. It's such a beautiful movie. More life drawing from, yeah, this is from Movie Club. Of course it is. Oof. Thunder Train notes and some various thumbnail studies from Thunder Train, which is the first movie that our movie club, now titled Thunder Train, made. And it's a time. I love it. It's terrible, but also wonderful in a wild kind of way. And I did a bunch of thumbnail studies from different scenes in it and wrote some notes about how that is, because it's not great, but also it's great. Oh, I did. Got more life drawing from the park, because that's generally what's on pages. More notes and a lineup of some of the characters, the more developed characters in the story. And again, I was trying to capture the same looseness as these, but with more detail, and I think I did that pretty well. It worked pretty okay. And I definitely got closer to how I want Cassie and Adelaide to look more here than I do most times I try to draw them. And that's the last page, because I ripped out a bunch of pages in the start of the book before I started using it, because I needed paper that could handle watercolor sometimes. So there's less pages than the 60 that should be in here, but I still like it, and it was still a bunch of work and a good time. That's it. Let's game. Bye!